Everybody, I'm Jonathan Klein. I am a 2006 Haas MBA and an alum. I was on the World of Good team for the Global Social Venture Competition over a decade ago. I'm really excited to be here. I'm currently the co-founder and CEO of something called Go Public Schools, focused on community organizing and politics and political advocacy around expanding opportunity for California's most historically underserved students and young people.
Hi, my name is Siddharth Sangvi, and I was Haas a business school grad of 2003, also GSVC business plan competition 2005, worked on several businesses in the sustainability / social sector, and now I'm the chief operating officer for a real estate company. It's completely different.
Sally Stevens. I went to Cal undergrad, graduated in '83, graduated from Wharton Business School in '89. I'm the chief business officer for Medicines 360, which is a nonprofit pharmaceutical company focused on women's health and providing access to contraceptives to women in need.
Great, and so this is a particularly special award, which Siddharth will speak about for a moment. You can come up here if you like.
This award is, you read as the Priya Haji Memorial Award, and it's particularly special because to me to be here as a judge because this is where Priya and I pitched for the GSVC business plan competition 2005. Jonathan actually helped us write that business plan, and we won that competition. So it's nice to be here. Also, unfortunately, a few years ago, Priya passed away suddenly, and this is where we had her memorial. So, it's a kind of a special place for that too. But the GSVC truly is an amazing institution, and for us, it was particularly helpful for our business because it helped us get in front of a lot of people, and eventually we were able to, it was a platform that then eventually helped us raise VC funding, and then we sold the company to eBay 5 or 6 years later. And so, I think if Priya was here today, she would say, with the business plan competition, with the GSVC, to focus on scale. Because that's what she really wanted to do. She felt that there's, it's a lot of work to start a business, whether it's a small one or a big one, so you might as well start a big one, and you might as well make an impact. And the second thing is, that she probably would have said, is that it's really, really important to align your incentives, the social part of it and the business part of it, because if they're two separate metrics for the two of them, you're going to run into trouble. And the last thing that I would add is, it's important to pick your team really well because it's hard enough starting a business. You might as well do it with people you like, and that can help you improve yourself. And she certainly did that for me. She died 3 years ago, and then since then I went into real estate, so I fell off the wagon. But anyway, good luck, everyone.
Just real quick, I had a chance to know Priya as well, and I was down in Southern California with my family this week, but I flew up to be a part of this to honor her. And you can go online and you can watch Priya talk to entrepreneurs, and she was invited to speak all over the country and all over the world about her experiences as a social entrepreneur. And one of the things she said to almost every group when she started was, I said yes, I came here because the next big idea might be in this room. The next entrepreneur that touches thousands and millions of lives might be here. And if I could be a part of helping her or him or that team on their journey toward that kind of impact, I have to be here with you. And I'm paraphrasing, but just her spirit was so strong in service of like our whole planet. And it's just an honor to be with you tonight, or this morning, in her honor, and good luck to everybody.
All right, so with that, we will have Young for Elder come up and do the first pitch. The teams will have 5 minutes to pitch and 5 minutes of Q&A from the judges. Sorry? timekeeper. So yes, please, for all the teams, please make sure to look at Nolan over here to see how much time you have left.
Hello, everyone. I'm Boya from China, and here I'll introduce our project about the second home for the senior. In my country, we have the China has the fastest aging population in human history, and according to World Bank, by the 2040, more than 40% of the people of the population of their age will be over 60 years old. And also because in my country, we have a policy, means one-child policy, already have 40 years old. And now we have a new Chinese family structure, is 4-to-1. And it's really a big burden to the young generation because they need to do something for their old parents and even old grandparents. So if we only rely on government care isn't enough. That's why our project wanted to try out combine with government and the community and family. We combine with them and we build a community home-based elder care service platform. And we give them different services. Firstly, life book service and happiness psychology classes and Sacred Angel caring program. Firstly, our happiness psychology classes is not only focused, because sometimes in my country, all the elder only care about where to travel, how to take care of your grandchildren, but we tell them, our classes focus on happiness psychology knowledge and try to give them different perspectives and try to help them build a new social network. And secondly, life services. It's a little project. We can and enable the elder people can record their life stories and life experience and wisdom. And all of these books, it's a gift for their grandchildren because all the family members can learn something, learn some life experience and wisdom from their grandparents. And also, it's a good way that helps the family member can understand their whole family changing history. And at last, Second Angel caring program, we give a volunteer opportunity for the students and try to promote the respect and care for the elderly, and hope it's a good way they can build a bridge and between the young and the elderly. Our income divided into two parts. Firstly, firstly state program, and secondly self-pay. It depends children, including children with older parents. Here is our team, and we already reached more than 1,000. We already reached and helped more than 1,000 elder, and also we already helped 4 communities. And about in the future, in next step, firstly, we want to connect with different stakeholders and that we can give different products for them, and we can really really focus on the elderly needed daily and spiritual services. Secondly, we really hope that information technology can help us increase our model's effectiveness. And at last, we really hope that we can spread our model and among our whole country. That's all. Thank you. And I invest my team member. And translate. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll start the Q&A now. 5 minutes, yes.
Sorry, 小晴.
Is it on? So much of your model is based on getting funding from the government. How do you do that? How easy is that to do? How firm is it on an annual basis?
Oh, okay.
我来回答这个问题。抱歉，我英语不太好，因为我们的国家有很多的人口，我们的人口占到全世界1/5，我们一直觉得服务好中国1/5的人，就解决好了世界1/5的问题。
Sorry, my English is not that good. So I always think that the population in China is a big issue, and we have 1/5 of the world's population. So giving the best service to those 1/5 of the people will be the best thing we could do.
作为中国政府来讲，现在特别重视中国人的老年人的问题，因为中国的老年人增长特别的迅速，所以中国政府特别的希望像我们这些 NGO 组织能承担这样的一份社会责任。如果我们有能力进入到社区，把养老的工作做起来，政府是愿意用购买服务的方式来提供大量的资金资源。事实上，我们现在已经在4个社区开始做这类似的工作，都是由政府资金来承担。
Actually, government will be very willing to like need those NGOs to provide these kind of services, because these NGOs actually help the government to address the issues of the fast aging population. So actually, they have already established the service in 4 communities, and they're all sponsored by the government.
How does your cost, what drives your cost to serve additional clients as you open up new communities?
主要是人工成本，就是我们服务社区的我们的工作人员，还有我们的志愿者的一些适当的一些补贴，大概是这样一些主要成本。
Mainly the cost mainly comprised by the subsidiary to those volunteers, and like mainly is the labor cost. And there will be fixed working staff in every community.
So I have a question about your differentiator. How is what you're doing? What do you have? Is somebody else doing something similar? And is there any competition?
中国有很多这样的机构在做社区老年人服务，但是我们跟他们有一个非常重要的区别。以往的这些组织服务在老年人社区，重点是关注在老年人的健康，老年人的这个家庭料理，但是我们重点会关注到他们的心理，还有我们会提供社交的平台，这是我们区别于以往任何的这些机构的重要的不同点。我们通过建设这个平台，给老年人提供2件事情。第一件事情，给他们提供社交的空间和这个有组织的这种社交活动。第二个，我们整合各种可以服务老年人的资源，比方说为他们提供这个订车服务、订餐服务，甚至我们的健康档案的管理等等，都在这个平台上。
There are some other organizations doing the same thing, but the main differentiation is so all the others are only focusing on their physical health, their own healthcare, but our service will focus on the psychological health. So we provide 2 things. The first thing is we provide them with the social platform for them to social, and then the second thing is we provide them integrated services. For example, we order food, we call cabs for them. So like all kinds of live services.
就是我觉得可能作为我来说，我觉得我们团队跟其他团队可能还有一个不同的点，就是我们的那个团队组成结构，就是由青少年，然后青年，然后中年，还有老年这样的4个人群组成的。
And another differentiator is, I want to build up on that, is the main working staff is comprised by young people, adolescents, and older people. So it's a very diverse group.
Okay, so that is time. Thank you very much, Young for Elder, and we'll. Dr. Noah, please come up. Do we have the? Yeah, right here. Yes, and then should we stand here? Or? Yep. You can stand.
Oh, can we? Well, I guess I'll switch the mic over.
Okay. Over here? Okay, that's fine. Are you ready?
Okay. Hello, my name is Gloria.
And I'm Jason.
And we're from Team Dr.
Dr.
Noah. Okay, so we at Dr. Noah, we believe in the sustainable growth of marginalized people and communities all around the world. So, at Dr. Noah, with our bamboo toothbrush, we will connect our customers to our beneficiaries to promote local development by promoting industry, building factories, and creating jobs. And in turn, our beneficiaries will help us to provide our customer a competitive product that has social and environmental impact. So bamboo already plays a major role in the development of many countries. Over 2.5 billion people depend on it for their survival and livelihood. And bamboo has always been considered a valuable resource, but with industrialization and introduction of plastic products, it has caused a devaluation and an underutilization of bamboo. And this has left these communities behind. So it has caused rural poverty in these areas and migration issues. And migration has led to children being abandoned and their education being abandoned, as well as divorce rates increasing and underdevelopment of these communities. So at Dr. Noah, we are tackling 3 different problems. They're rural poverty, low value of bamboo, and pollution. So for rural poverty, we are providing jobs and building factories, and this will contribute to socioeconomic development of those areas. And low value of bamboo, we will hand over the ownership of the factory, and this we will provide payment plan and proper training and setup. And this will give the local people the ability to make higher value bamboo products for the global market, which they do not, they are having a lot of problems with that. And in addition to that, it gives the local people the ability to develop their bamboo industry. And then for pollution, we are providing an eco-friendly replacement to the plastic toothbrushes 4 times a year. And so that will greatly reduce plastic waste, depending on how many people buy a product. So with the growing interest in ethical business practice and sustainability, and as well like eco-friendly products, we at Dr. Noah provide all 3 of these elements. And so we have several different milestones. We started Dr. Noah at 2005, but one of the most important milestones is that in November 2016, we created our own machine. So it's a bamboo toothbrush drilling and tufting machine. So currently there are bamboo toothbrushes out there, but they are mostly produced in China with plastic toothbrush machines, and it has a defective rate of over 20%. So with our technology, we have reduced it to less than 1%. So this has greatly reduced the cost, and it also has improved the quality of the bristles, but it also gives us the ability to customize our toothbrush, things that other bamboo toothbrushes cannot offer. And they are also priced at 5 to 8, but we could be at a competitive price of $2.50. So the other big milestone is our MOU agreement, and for that, we were in Vietnam last month, and we signed an MOU agreement with the Vietnamese government to make a factory in Thanh Hoa, and they promised us free land and also guaranteed infrastructure.
So normal toothbrush, normal plastic toothbrush, price range from value pack toothbrush to expensive high functional toothbrush. And other bamboo toothbrush, they're $5 to $10. And we want to place our price into regular plastic toothbrush because we want to make our toothbrush accessible to regular plastic toothbrush customer. so we can create more impact and change the plastic toothbrush industry. And like most toothbrush in the market, they use nylon bristles, and nylon bristles, it absorbs water more, and it causes bending issues. When it is bent, it's hard to clean and hurt your gums. So we use PBT bristles, and it absorbs less water, and it doesn't bend like nylon bristles. And most bamboo toothbrush in market, they have flat handle or round handle, but we designed our handle so we can provide better grip to customers. And we generate income by selling our toothbrush, and we will start with crowdfunding, and then we will build a factory. After we build a factory, we can reduce cost of a toothbrush by 67 cents, and then we can create more profit to build another factories more easily. And these are our 3 phases. And first phase is preparing for the market with crowdfunding. And then second phase is going into market with our e-commerce platform. And then third phase is expanding market with borrowed offline channel.
Thank you. That's our presentation. Thank you for listening to us.
Thank you. So again, we will have 5 minutes for Q&A. Yes.
So, it's on. So how do your investors get a return if you're going to be giving the factories back to the communities?
So we're not planning to give the factories right away. We are planning to have we need a 10 to 15 year plan. We actually have a 10 to 15 year plan of who we want to seek for, what type of partners we want. And during that time, we plan on building other factories. So we will import from that factory and then just market and sell it too. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. Oh, okay. Factories? Okay.
We will transform into a company that purchases, manufactures toothbrush, develop toothbrush production technology, sell toothbrushes worldwide, and build factory in other bamboo growing areas.
Yeah, we're actually selling the offer. We're creating a payment plan, so we're giving them a 10-year payment plan to pay for the factory price, but we're giving them that. So we're not just handing it over. We're handing over. Yeah, we're selling it through a payment plan. Yeah, like a financing system. Yeah.
What's the market size for this?
So plastic toothbrush market is really small. It's like about $1 billion. Yeah.
Okay, so we were thinking when we target millennials and Gen X, we calculated it's 1.14 million people in the US alone, right? So if there's 4 plastic toothbrush at $250, that's $1.14 billion. And we've calculated it, there's a study on the potential of bamboo for poverty reduction in Southeast Asia. So if we use their projection, it's $65 to $95 billion impact on the global bamboo economy. I know these numbers are big, but we looked into the possibility of how we would promote industry.
That would be assuming you'd get 100% of the market share. The 1 billion, 95 billion impact. Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you have some technology that helps you get the bristles.
Yes, can we play
here?
that? Yes, we have the video for it.
I just wanted to ask, what protections do you have around the intellectual property around that technology?
Yeah, we have IP in Korea. Yeah, we have IP in Korea, but we aren't in America yet, but we plan on doing that before we start crowdfunding in America. Yeah.
So per factory, how many women, and it's only women, right? Are you going to be employing per?
So we did the calculations, and it's 81 women per factory, and we can make 8 factories, right? Yeah, with a year's profit.
And 8 factories?
Yeah, 8 factories.
Here is our machine. We invented
These are our own machine, drilling and topping machine.
And then what is the income that you're providing to each one of these women?
Oh, so the sustainable income?
Now we are we will give 200 USD per month. The unskilled laborers.
Per month.
Yeah.
Because we did interviews with the Langcha district within Danhua, and currently they do have bamboo factory workers there, and they get around 100 to 200. So if we price point it too high, it could drive those factories down. So we want to actually instead provide benefits and daycare programs and support services instead, to bolster their communities.
What's the channel for your first million toothbrushes? Who are you going to sell them to?
Distribution channel, right?
Now we build the e-commerce subscription service like Dollar Shave Club.
But before we come to America, we're actually working in Korea, so we have started crowdfunding, and we actually finished this month. We successfully raised $40,000, and we are going to actually sell in the market within Korea, and we're going to go to drugstores. But when we come to America, we will crowdfund, and we will try to focus on e-commerce, but we are also thinking of different distribution channels.
Okay, so I think that's all we have for questions. Thank you so much, Dr. Noah.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Narayan, and that's Alex, and we're Rebeam. Electricity is one of the global challenges. So 1 in 6 doesn't have access. Out of the 5, 4 have access to bad or non-renewable sources. And this is at a time when studies suggest that a patch of land in Africa there, which is like 250 square kilometers wide, can actually power the entire world using solar. So in terms of renewable energy, today the problem lies not in collection, but actually in transmission. And that's the vision that Rebeam was formed to challenge. And we believe that by developing proprietary technologies in long-distance transmission of wireless power, we can change the world in terms of the last billion. So the founders of Rebeam met at Singularity University, just here. And we were at the summer program there, where we came up with this concept and then had a mentorship for like 6 months, where we looked at how we could actually go on this path of the exponential. And we looked at, okay, while we want to transmit large amounts of energy, we'll have to start small, transmitting a few hundred watts, and then eventually developing ourselves up into this path of having to be able to transmit hundreds of megawatts. So then we looked at drones as a possible entry point, because they are now entering into many services on the ground. So this puts us at something like 100 meters, and then high altitude platforms, and then eventually intercontinental grids using satellite relays. So we looked at the entire landscape, and there were a lot of stakeholders. Like, for example, internet.org, Facebook is invested into this drone company, which faces today battery as a major challenge. So when they are going into these communities and trying to provide internet services, energy is the biggest problem, because they have batteries that last like 60 minutes or so on, and they have to come down and the service is disrupted. And this goes along to several other sectors in critical infrastructure. So then we looked at, okay, can we challenge this and replace the batteries and provide like wireless antennas? And that's the solution that we are developing, which is basically a transmitter, ranging, and receiver technology, which can then be put on the ground, which is then we scaled by going from 100 watts to then a kilowatt and so on. So the suite of technologies that we are dealing with is more or less in transmitter, ranging, and reception, where we are doing solid-state phase arrays on the transmission side. We're doing ranging using pilot signals and so on. And then on the receiver side, we are innovating in terms of materials and antennas and power regulations. So this is the broad. We're going into the market or the service side by partners. So today, just in the drone space, as I said, in rural connectivity or critical infrastructure, there have been studies that say that if 10% of the population is connected to internet, the GDP of the country goes up by more than 1.5%. So today, a lot of these services are shutting down because they are not sustainable because of this energy problem that they face on platforms. So it's the same for disaster management and so on. So what we are doing as a financial model is we're looking at transmitter receiver system which we can develop in like $1,000. And then eventually scale, if we are achieving scale, we can go from there to energy as a service where we can provide $1 per kilowatt hour and not charge for the actual hardware, depending on the amount of energy. So the team here is led by Aazer, who's the chief scientist, has a background in nanotechnology, in material science, and so on. And Alex here is an energy expert, and he's with the UN and has worked on the Paris Agreement. And Jordi is an expert in drones, working with the European Space Agency and the German Space Agency. And I myself doing my PhD in Germany on supply chain management. So this is just a prototype video that we have. We're very early stage, where we're still able to collect some of the. So we literally just ripped out a microwave and now going to the next level of prototyping in terms of solid states. And as you see, like, we're receiving some of the energy there, and it's just to show you, okay, we're able to get some energy out. And so again, this puts us, as we think, on this exponential where we want to achieve, let's say in 10 years' time, be on this exponential and see if we can get there and power the entire world with renewables. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So we will go straight into the Q&A now for 5 minutes.
Can you talk about your competitors and how you're positioning?
Slide for the competitor? Is that annex?
Yeah, just talk about
annex one.
Yeah, sorry, we actually just switched slides.
Yeah, next. Next. This one.
Okay, we'll do this real quick.
Yeah. So there have been several efforts in this front. A lot of people actually confuse us to companies like Ubeam, which is a different area of wireless tech, which is more like consumer devices. We are basically talking about wireless tech in terms of wireless power transmission tech, not really induction technology, and not consumer devices. So there have been several efforts, as we see. These are a few of them, and lately there was one in CES as well this year. So the play here is really on what is the kind of frequency that you operate in, what are the power levels, and so the real tech goes behind materials as well. So there are many layers to this tech that people can play around, and people have invested into it, and there were some very early stage ventures which have shut down as well, which were pretty early into the market. So, and we believe that, okay, we are now kind of at this cusp where we can go on and take this to the next level.
How much do you need to raise for a working prototype?
So we're looking at an early stage funding of about $2 million. That's for the drone tech, where we want to transmit something like something like 100 to 200 watts to about 100 meters. So that will allow the whole drone-based services landscape to take off. And then we'll have to scale up to the next kilowatt level. That will need the second series of funding. Yeah.
Sorry, $2 million is for a working prototype and the ability to produce them to go to market?
Yes, that is true.
And so for the social impact side of it and going to the rural communities without electricity, what has to be in the rural community in order for them to be able to actually accept the microwave in order to make it into electricity?
Yeah.
So actually, the company is focusing only on the wireless power transmission. So we have to work with partners such as internet providers or any kind of company that is in this area. Our solution will be providing electricity to a drone-based structure and to station keep and provide. And the second part will be done by our partners.
Yeah, and on the energy side, eventually what is happening is in many countries, like for example in Japan, they want to transition to this sort of space-based energy. They're designating areas, within the, just a little bit away from the community, let's say like 20 kilometers away, and then, in a way where you could power that land where there's nobody there, and then you connect that into the grid. So that makes sure that, okay, you don't need to pull a line from or completely change the infrastructure that is today powering nuclear or coal or whatever, and instead only the source changes. So that's what is the proposed landscape, and it's been around for like more than 20 years now.
more questions, or? Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so our next team is DHeart. And, yep, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Nicola Morizzi, the co-founder of DHeart. For those of you who are not aware about what this is an ECG. This is what occurs every day to our heart when it's beating. But this is not a normal ECG. But this patient, a 15-year-old boy, has myocardial ischemia. Heart diseases are rising in prevalence, and 1 every 4 people in this room will develop a heart condition during their life. Unfortunately, I know mask in these statistics because this was my ECG, and I was the 15-year-old boy. So I decided to turn my problem into an opportunity. And so I decided to become a doctor that faces any problem in the light of the patient, and I wanted to concentrate on cardiology. The worldwide epidemic of cardiovascular disease is very well known. Up to 9 to 90 million people suffer cardiovascular disease around the world, but more specifically, the reality is that up to 500 million are currently undiagnosed with heart conditions. So how can we harness the power of technology to try to tackle this problem? We unify the most cost-effective tool for cardiovascular screening, which is the ECG, with the power and widespread availability of mobile connection. And we came with our solution, DHeart, a smartphone-based electrocardiograph that streams via Bluetooth the ECG to the smartphone. Once on the smartphone, it can be stored or sent to the nearest cardiological hospital with a simple click. It is affordable since it has a production cost of $50. It is solar powered since it can be solar charged. And it is also portable. It weighs less than a smartphone. But the real innovation stands in the fact that to need a perfect ECG, you need a perfect electrode placement. And this has been the limit up to now of telemedicine and telecardiology in particular. But we tackle this problem by having the user visualized its own image on the screen on the smartphone with his chest with the electrode placed on it. And so just by imitation, he can perfectly execute the exam. And this has never been done before and has enormous huge technical impact. And the most important thing is that our device also verified that the electrodes were correctly positioned, and only if they were correctly positioned, it then can be sent for a referral. We validated our technology. We ran 3 trials, and we are very close to the CE certification for medical device that will come up in November, and it has been published on international peer-reviewed journals. And the social impact is based on credible facts and data. Those are our experiences around the world. Many countries, many different culture, different challenges. We might range from population screening that we carry on in Senegal to emergency situation in southern Greece, and up to taking care of Kenyan mother with HAMREF, offering them an ECG at every visit that they do on their pregnancy. So scalability is possible as our company grows. And who are our targets? We have 2 different targets. In developed countries, we target the chronic heart patients needs to be monitored. Whereas in developing countries, people at risk of heart conditions needs to be identified because we have the treatments, so we need to identify who deserve the treatment and who needs it most. And who's going to pay for their needs? In developed countries, private hospital and health insurance company who pay for the needs, with whom we already have agreements with, starting from BNP Paribas, which is a health insurance company in Italy, and a set of private hospitals still in Europe. And whereas with people in developing countries, who's going to pay for these? NGOs, as well as private foundation, as well as national health system. We already partnered with Vodafone Foundation in many projects, and also with M-Pesa to bring the people to the hospital once their need is identified. And the business model has a common goal, both in developed countries and developing countries, embrace the patient's needs. In developed countries, we sell the service, the device, and the consumable. and we have margins here. Whereas in developing countries, we have the we sell the device at production cost, the consumer production cost, and the service is given by our cardiologist team in a voluntary way. And those are the projections. We promise you to arrive at 11 million ECGs performed by 2020, because we hypothesize to sell in a very conservative way up to 37,000 units in 3 years in the developed markets, whereas only 27,000 in the developing market. But in developing market, each device can target up to 1,000 people. This is based on actual data. Whereas in developed market, we assume that each device is able to target 12 people.
Thank you.
So I thank you for the attention.
So we'll have 5 minutes again for questions and answers.
So you have no sales today, correct?
Sorry?
There's no sales today, right? You're waiting for CE mark, and then are you going into the FDA device trying to do that approval as well?
Well, up to now it has been a lot of research projects that needs us for validation, for feedbacks, for improving the product, improving the service, and also allowed us to obtain almost the CE certification and the 510K for FDA, which is the equivalence. Which is, the technology is a very simple technology, but is used in a different way. So FDA has been really, really good in delivering F10K to such sort of device.
Okay, so you expect to launch when?
The launch of the product will be starting from Italian market, which is our country, and as far as developed countries are concerned, by November 2017, so in actually a few months. Whereas in the developing countries, we already partnership with several NGOs and private foundations, including, can I have the slides?
We actually have
It's okay, So you're going to start in Italy at the end of this year, and then you're going to go into developing countries.
In developed countries, whereas with developing countries, we are open to any sort of partnerships with health organizations. Are more than welcome, because we have a pre-series, which are 300 devices that are partly occupied by Vodafone Foundation, who's a big player, but we are more than welcome for collaborations.
The same question for the previous team. How much money do you need to raise to get a working prototype in production?
No, I'm sorry. We have working prototypes.
Okay.
We've done all those experimentation with working prototypes, and we already have the money to write. Please.
Got it. Okay, so now this is for FDA.
Please touch it. I mean, it's something that might save your life. It's not gonna hurt you. And the point is, one of the major improvements as far as the hardware is concerned, people were, complaining about cables, and we patented this system of cables that can come out without any problem and being uncoiled very easily. And this was, I can leave it here for you. I mean, it's not for me, I know it. And what we've done up to now, we've done with 10 prototypes, working prototypes. All the numbers that you have seen there, all the lives saved, which I did not have time to concentrate on, 222 individuals went on treatment, started their own pathway, and changed their destiny. And those are numbers of lives saved. I'm not dealing about, something that I sell. This is lives saved. I'm a doctor, so I will make clear this point.
How do you describe the reliability of this device versus the device that I would go to currently get in a hospital or clinic?
Yeah, you're taking the discussion in my field. I'm very happy about that. Well, you can find on PubMed, which is the most widespread database of articles. We published 3 trials, and we compare these devices to the one that you find in the hospital. And the amount of information that you can get if the intervals were the same, and if the tracing were the same. And we are running, those trials in developing countries to increase awareness, user-friendliness, and also to gain data. So we are currently running 8 research projects. So we are continuing gaining data, insights, but we already been published, the comparison between those machines, the output is actually identical. And this is, I mean, data saying. I'm a scientist. I'm not saying, you know, assumption. I'm talking about data.
Can you talk to us about competitors?
The competitors? Yeah, I got a slide for the competitors as well. But the competitors up to now have been concentrated in two major ways. All electrocardiographs, which are portable, but actually the same that you have in the hospitals, so are not reliable in non-expert hands because they do not have a guide, because they are complex, because they have cables around. And so this is one side of competitor. Same clinical accuracy, but cannot be used by consumers or by medical volunteers who do not have medical background. On the other side, we have single lead ECGs, which are extremely portable, very nice, but the amount of clinical data that you can get are insufficient to plan anything. So that's, I mean, those are the two key players in the business, and we position ourselves, you know, having the same clinical reliability and satisfying the issue about complexity of having an exam like this performed, and also the reliability of an exam, because if you perform the exam and you have no medical background, I will not trust what arrives on my computer.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, we're over time, but thank you very much.
Thank you.
SolarPak. We have SolarPak come down.
What did you do?
Who's speaking?
Hi everyone, I'm Thierry from SolarPak, and I'm with Evarist, my teammate. And we will start with a little exercises. Maybe can you close your eyes and imagine that you are in a complete darkness. And in the darkness, try to read a book. It's impossible. And this is the challenges that face mostly 600 million people in Africa because of lack of electricity. And Nina is one of them. And she will share with us for 1 minute her story.
My name is Nina Nguesson. I'm 8 years old and I'm in grade 3. I live with my parents and my 4 brothers and sisters at Sango village. My dad is a planter and my mom is a housewife. She serves an excellent meal to help my father. I love school because you learn a lot of things. For example, you learn that the sunrise is at the east and the sunset at the west, or that Ivory Coast is the first producer of cocoa in the world. I listen carefully to the lessons because I want to become an architect. Here, it gets dark very quickly. To have some light, we use a hurricane lamp that helps me learning my lessons. We only have one light. If my dad or my mom needs it, I have to wait until they are finished. It isn't easy to do the exercise for the teacher or to study. My teacher also told me that there are many more villages that don't have electricity in the country, where the students have the same problems to study. Last month, we received from Uncle Evarist some backpacks that carry lights. Thanks to this bag, I can now revise my lessons and do my exercises. The teacher is so proud of me. Today to learn, I don't need the hurricane lamp of my mom because I now have my own light. With SolarPak, I think I can achieve my dream and build beautiful houses.
As Nina, there is 2.5 million school children in our country that doesn't have access to electricity and doesn't able to do their homework when fall the night. So we come with this solution, the SolarPak, which is a school bag powered by solar. And in this school bag, we incorporated a battery, and the battery is charged at the day, When the student go to school, he charged with daylight or sunlight, and at night, those school children has his own light. Why we come with SolarPak? We found that there is a lot of kind of solution coming with lamp and solar-powered lamp. But what we saw is the cost is so high so that the household could not afford two, they could afford only one. And with this one, the mother could cook with it, the father go chill with his friend with it, and the children is sad because he cannot study. So we come with a personal solution. So now with SolarPak, our school children have their own light. They carry their belonging in the morning, and at night they use this bag to study at home. Okay, so we base our model on foundation and NGOs that help us bring this bag to schools and to household. And what we did also, we worked with a microfinance institute to bring this bag to farmers. They pay roughly $2 per month to have this bag. So it's affordable enough to give them the opportunity to bring quality education to their children. And we target in our country almost 1 million persons that could have access to this. And we will build a plant in our country to make this bag, not only for Côte d'Ivoire, but for all Western Africa. And we think that by 2020, we will reach 2 million students, 2 million school street children with our bag, and allow 400,000 households to have access to light. So this is our team. We are a team of 6 persons working on it. Evaris is our CEO, and me, the person in charge for business development. Okay, and we are targeting another market after this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and now we'll have 5 minutes for Q&A.
I had a question about your margins. You said you're making it for 17 and selling it for 21. Those are pretty slim margins. How will you pay for staff, marketing, distribution, etc.?
Okay, our model is based maybe on volume. It is mainly a social impact business that we want to do. We don't give us big salary. We work closely with women in the rural areas for the, maybe you can help us? Sure. For sewing the bag, you see. So our costs are not high. And we are working on lowering this cost by do almost all the manufacturing in our country.
Do you have a projection of what that cost of goods could get down to with a reasonable volume or a reasonable number of years?
Okay, so the solar pad size is a 3 watts solar pad and with battery inside, and the cost is roughly $10. Yes, and for the textile part, the cost is roughly $5. So when we will repatriate the textile part in our country, we think that we will we cut the cost by 35%.
Your presentation mentioned that a lot of families only have enough resource for one light. How much do those lights cost?
Sorry?
Just the household light that
Okay.
mom's using to cook or dad's using to work at night. How
Yes,
much do
yes.
those cost?
The current light, the current solution costs roughly $30. So household cannot afford to have 2 or 3. So when they buy one, the one is used by almost everybody, and the children is left behind. So what we come with is a solution that will allow the children to have its own light, and we are based on microfinance to allow the farmer to pay for $2 per month for 10 months, for instance.
And how much do you need to raise to set up the factory to serve 2 million kids by 2020?
300,000 US dollar. We have already produced and distribute 500 SolarPak, yes, for the moment.
So the alternative is $30. This is $21, right? But how much would they normally spend on a backpack? Because you're looking at, they would, instead of buying a regular backpack, they buy a solar backpack.
Yep.
So
Normally, a backpack in the country go from, we can say, $8 to $30. And we work closely with the government. We offer every years, they offer almost 1 million bag to students in the country. And they buy it, it's around $1 and $7 that they buy it and throw it in the country. So we work with them, we say, for $2 or $3 more, you will have a better bag with a lamp in rural areas so that they could carry the belonging but also have light to study at night. And we are working to launch a pilot for the coming back to school.
So the pilot is with the government funding? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
it's the government funding.
Well, I guess one last question. You know, kids are a tough audience. I don't know what it's like in Côte d'Ivoire, but if it doesn't have, you know, I don't know, Mickey Mouse on it or something, you know, they may not want to carry it. I'm just curious, like, have you seen, you know, in the 500 bags that you've done, has that been an issue at all?
Okay, we come with a bag with very bright colors because we target school children mainly. But because of license issue, we cannot put Mickey, but we think that if we put that, yes, they will love it, for sure.
Great, thank you so much. We have Aazer up next.
Hi, I'm Ahmed. I'm the COO and co-founder of Aazer.
Hi, I'm Mohammed, CTO and co-founder of Aazer. And let's talk about how we democratize financial aid. It all started when we were visiting a refugee camp in Syria, and we saw the suffering of thousands of kids that are living without even basic medical supplies. All they need was $12,000 to cover medical supplies for a full year. So we had to explore the available options for individuals like us to fund social aid, like getting grant from funding organization, fundraising from friends and families, or maybe launching an online crowdfunding campaign.
Throughout this journey, we saw two main problems with the options available for individuals to fund their social initiatives. First, there's millions of individuals eager to make a difference in other people's lives, but they lack the money and the supporting community. At the same time, there's always hidden power, politics, money, or even quality personal network that influence how the social fund goes to a social initiative. And here comes Aazer. Aazer is a web and mobile app where we create a community of people who care and take direct actions from helping people in need. As a community, fund together, work together, decide together. We are democratizing financial aid by giving people the power to decide on how the fund raised should be distributed on the social initiatives. So eventually, whenever someone needs money for a refugee camp or even for the education of his son, he will find an entire community coming together to give him a hand.
So how does Aazer work in just 4 simple steps? 1, by joining Aazer, you and any member will pay a monthly subscription fees starting from $1 that goes into one single pool. 2, being part of Aazer, any member can propose a social aid initiative. 3, a voting process happens every month where all the members get to vote and decide how funds should be distributed based on the most needed initiatives. 4, the money goes to the top voted aid initiatives, top to bottom, until all the money available for this month is used. And we do this every month.
So let's talk numbers. In 2015, 1.5 billion people donated money for a charity or a cause. And out of these donations, 10% were online, with a growth rate of 10%. The amount of recurrent online donations is about 7.8 billion per year, and that's our market.
Of course, we compete with online monthly giving programs and crowdfunding platforms, but why Aazer is different? We give our members the power of votes, as by votes, they can amplify the social impact they get for their money. As by votes, they get to support as many social aid initiatives as they want. 2, giving high donations doesn't give the person any privilege in decision-making over those with limited donations. 3rd, for Aazer members who want to propose social aid initiatives, we give them access to an already available community so that they don't have to build their own community or market their own project to get it funded. Our revenue model is simple. We take 8% from the monthly subscription fees paid by our members, and this includes the payment processor fees.
So who's behind Aazer? We're 4, Saleh, Noura, Mohammed, and me. Collectively, we have experience, and we've done social initiatives before in the MENA region. We also started 5 startups before and 3 social groups in Egypt. Our experience include software development, business development, marketing, research, behavioral psychology. We're now incubated in the Do School in Berlin, and we are competing for the final round of the MIT Business Plan competition, our business plan competition, this month. So now, imagine the power of people coming together. Imagine the number of people having relief, having better healthcare, better education, or any other help or aid. Together, there is nothing we cannot do. Thank you.
Thank you, Aazer, and we'll have 5 minutes for Q&A. Sorry? Keep the slides. Yes.
Question, you know, a lot of these platforms, a lot of it is based on network effect and getting enough people both on the receiving side as well as on the giving side. So how will you get to critical mass?
Okay. Actually, we have one target audience. Our target audience mainly are the university students and millennials who are mainly socially active. So these target audience are one person. So the same person goes to the round, he puts the money and proposes projects, and at the same time vote on everything. We're targeting these people through creative content marketing and through the influential marketing techniques, the regular things. And at the same time, we're starting off with a crowdfunding campaign to build the brand equity and create a social capital within our community that we're targeting, the audience we talked about.
Is there going to be a geographical focus to start with?
So first we'll be working in 2 countries, mainly Egypt and Germany, because our team is located in these 2 countries and we have attraction there with around 3,500 followers on Facebook, so we want to build on that.
So how would you describe the social impact?
Okay. We believe that democratizing financial aid will help the reach of the financial aid reach everywhere. There's always augmented challenges all over the world we face. But the organization, local ones or the international ones, don't have enough reach to reach these situations or challenges everywhere in the world. We believe that people, individuals all over the world can reach out for these challenges everywhere. So we think that our social impact will be through creating the social initiatives all over the world from individuals that are aware with the local forums and everything.
Actually, this happened with us in Syria when in this refugee camp, they needed only $12,000, but no big organizations wanted to do that. So somebody has to do it. And obviously, this one will be individual. So we need to empower these individuals so that they can impact the world to become a better place.
Is the platform up and running?
It's under development, yeah.
And how much do you need to raise?
Fundraise for the first version, we'll be needing $50,000 just to get it running and test it with the target audience and reach the product and market fit.
Do you have any partners around your initial marketing? Where are you at in terms of developing your strategy to build on Siddharth's question around sort of the network effects of needing a lot of people to do this? Like, where are you at with that plan?
I'm not sure if I understood the question correctly. If you can get. So mainly we have experience in marketing. If I understand this correctly, I'm a marketing manager of a leading startup in Egypt. I was the first employee. And I also started some marketing startups before. It's called Bayanet. It's an infographics startups, and we know more about influencers marketing. We worked before with some influencers in my industry, the recruitment industry that I'm working in the first startup. And in the infographics industry, we've worked before with lots of media channels that we believe that we can depend on to market our product.
And we are currently incubated in the school Berlin, Germany, so they help us out in this.
So do you have a target like number of contributors by a certain date?
Contributors like people putting content. Okay, we have around by the end of this year, we plan to have contributors of around 500 contribution from people all over the world for our platform. This will be we'll start this. We started actually having the blog and people contributing and everything, but we didn't reach out this number yet so far. So far we've reached around 50 articles, 50 content pieces on our website, but we didn't reach out for more so far.
Great, thanks.
Okay, thank you. So thank you very much. We have our last team, MyH2O.
Hi, I'm E.
It's Charlene.
We're MyH2O, and in rural China, there's about 300 million people who do not have access to clean water. So we created MyH2O to basically trying to solve this problem to connect clean water solutions to rural China. So there's no shortage of solutions, and the problem really is that the solution is really hard to get to the people who need the most them. So on the solution side, they don't really know much about the rural market information. And on the rural end user village, in the village side, they are particularly not knowledgeable about the extent of pollution that they're experiencing and the health effects. So there's a disconnect between the solution and end user. And what if there's an intermediate who can actually bridge gap by providing market data analyses and engage the user to awaken the demand and facilitating the solution connections. So this is why MyH2O comes in terms of we are offering market data analysis report and solution facilitations as a product to both the clean water companies and foundations. In long term, our vision really is to the data that we collect will feed into a data platform, which would ultimately empower the public to facilitate more clean water solutions to rural China. So we've made tremendous progress and momentums for achieving that vision, and we've done 1,500 surveys and 20 reports and 13 solution connections to clean water foundations and companies, which resulted in about 150,000 data points across 23 different provinces and 800 villages and covering 800,000 populations. And to base the current strategy that we have is to maximize our impact. So short term, we're going to partner with the top 20 clean water purification companies who takes about 80% of market share. Then the question would be why they're purchasing with us. So the analysis report and solution that we offer basically inform their product development targeted for the rural end users. And we also find new markets where they've never been and had no and little presence. And we also create CSR impact for these brand-conscious companies like Unilever and Media.
So you might wonder, how exactly are we collecting so many data? To begin with, we actually, in the past few years, we built a network of student teams across China, across the 23 provinces, and they are able to collect market report and analysis by collecting and analyzing water quality data, user behavior data, and after-sale product evaluation data. They've also been able to facilitate the delivery of solutions by using user education and awareness campaigns. And these market reports help the companies better develop their product, where the solution facilitation continues for them to develop into new markets. So far, we've already worked with 2 companies and have solution delivered covering over 1,000 population. So why us? To begin with, we have a team of advanced degree holders and assistant professors in environmental engineering, environmental health fields. However, that's not just it. We also have regional managers in all of the provinces in China managing each of the local student teams, allowing very intimate interconnection to ensure that the teams perform. And so our teams also give us an edge. To begin with, they're all professionally trained through a very selective process, which we only accept 40% of the team that apply to join us. Also, participating in fieldwork is part of the required curriculum, so we have a continuous team supply. In addition, we require that each team has a village native on the team so that they can really get intimate user connection. Lastly, we already have a wide network of 72 teams in the past 2 years. They're across 800 they went into across 800 villages, allowing wide new market coverage when the company wants to go into these new markets. So with these teams that are able to deliver and able to get the information that the company want, our 5-year vision is to have across 1,500 teams across all of China being able to get the information and data from over 50 million population, serving clean water solution to 4 million users, and bringing billions of clean water and millions of health savings. And with our data platform, we can, again, exponentially scale that impact in the long run.
Great, thank you. So we'll go on to the 5-minute Q&A.
So I was just a little bit confused about one thing. Are you selling data to institutions, or are you making it available to the end user so they know where to get clean water?
Yeah, so right now, our target market first, to begin with, is the companies. Yeah, because as we listed out, if you remember, the companies, the foundations, and the public, those are future targets. Right now, we're working directly with the companies, charging them per team base. For each of the team, we charge $1,300 to go into a specific region and covers fieldwork costs and network events to maintain the teams. And we get a margin from basically selling the services of these fieldwork teams so that they can get the information to serve the community that we really want to serve.
Yeah. One additional question was, you're collecting potentially sensitive data, as in that may not necessarily portray the water quality in a good light. Do you see any issues with that in terms of, cooperation from the government?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so to begin with, first of all, right now we're also testing the water by providing this information to people who can actually solve the problem. That is also one of the reasons why we started with the company. at the same time collecting the data. On the other hand, the data platform that we provide now, the data is shown in an aggregated format. Does not show in each GPS point that we visit. It's like this village, this is the average situation. We also show village comments and pictures to get people to understand, what is the general situation. And those information are much less sensitive than point data with very accurate numbers. But we also get that sense and also deliver those numbers to people who can actually solve these problems, facilitating, government solutions so the government is, less worried about these types of data.
You say the break even is 2 to 3 years. What do you need to invest in on the front end?
So basically, this is our ask. It's really the data platform and the regional management infrastructure, because we're building this infrastructure to be able to manage our hundreds and thousands of teams. So we're setting up regional hubs so that they connect their offline activities and become a franchise model so that they can run on its own. And we also want to develop this data platform so that there's more automatic connection between the companies and the teams in the long run. So kind of alleviating our HR costs and increasing our capacity. So those are mostly our investment in the next 1 to 2 years to be able to achieve the impact that we want ultimately at the 5-year point.
So I'm sorry, the franchises are the service teams? Or what's the friend?
Basically, right now we're operating as in sort of a remote extension of our team, but then ultimately these teams will operate under each individual regional hubs, and then yes, there are student and professional teams who train by us every single time and throughout the year, online and offline.
Yeah, so there are already universities that start their own MyH2O clubs. Yeah, so basically they're able to run on its own and do this as kind of their routine events. And we're expecting that to become a regional thing where they do this on their own.
Yeah, and I may add that one of the consistent feedback that we got from the student team and professional teams that we provide very professional scientific trainings for them, and then this is the best training we've had in terms of water testing and in the field.
Who are your competitors?
So our competitors are mostly, in terms of consulting, it's the general big consulting firms that actually provide, like AVC, they provide water quality information at the retailers, the rural retailers. But they're not really able to cover any new market. They are only able to get information on, who already bought these things at the retailer. So they don't really help them go into the new market. And the government sometimes help facilitate market entry of these companies, but on the other hand, they don't really engage with the user and understand their needs. The government just says, oh, the top government wants this, so come in here and deliver these solutions. So the voices of our end users are never really heard. Their demands are not met. Things are installed, they're never used. So in that case, we are able to have a really wide coverage with our teams all over the rural regions, and we're also able to really engage with the users, because each of these teams consists of members that are originally from that area, that came into university outside of that area. They really want to go back and serve their community, so they make the community's voice heard and their demands realized. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. So I just wanted to thank all the teams again. It is incredible what you've all done, and it's really an honor to have you all here today. We will be announcing the winner of the Priya Haji round tonight at the reception. And for the rest of the day, we still have a few more sessions. Should be really fun and interesting, so I hope we were able to join. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you very much.